A huge win for the Cherry and White, ending a 74-year-long winless streak. Temple football's historic weekend has everyone around campus excited.
And a big change at a local subway stop gives it a Cherry and White makeover. But what does the community think? Some aren't so pleased with the new look.
And Philadelphia police are now investigating the death of a Temple student as a homicide. We'll have the latest coming up on Temple Update.
And welcome. You are watching Temple Update. I'm Phil DuPont.
And I'm Becca Hendrickson. It's a day that Temple fans are going to be talking about to years to come, and that's because it's a day we've been waiting for 74 years.
It's been a long time. We're talking about Temple football putting a whopping on Penn State. And we've got our sports desk's Rocco DeSangro here to talk about the big story this week. Nice to see you, Rock.
Oh, guys, it's good to be here and great to be at Temple Owl after this weekend.
Rocco, I'll tell you what, it's 5 days later, and I'm still dreaming about that win.
I mean, the link was electric. It was just, the atmosphere was incredible, and I mean, it's something you can't describe unless you were actually there. But I mean, yeah. Temple's most anticipated season opener in years started off with a bang last week. Campus sent the team off in style with a pep rally at the Bell Tower, and the campus was alive with school spirit.
Rocco, I'll tell you what, you and I were at that game, and it's an energy that I've never, ever seen from a Temple football game.
I mean, it was just unbelievable to be there, Becca. I mean, me, you, and Dan Ray, I mean, we were all on the field, and it was just awesome to see. And I've never seen something like that. But we've got our Dan Ray live outside the football team's practice facility. I mean, with what the game means for Temple. Dan?
Yeah, guys, the biggest implication of this game was for the fans. Behind the fence here at Edberg Olsen Hall, Matt Rule is getting his team ready to play Cincinnati right now. He said it in postgame. Beating Penn State is huge for the school, but he's all about taking it one game at a time. Not to downplay, though, campus was riding high off of beating the Nittany Lions for the first time since 1941. And foes anxiously awaited the marquee matchup with tailgating in the parking lots. When fans finally made their way to their seats, the crowd had turned into the largest in Temple history. With the stadium packed, the atmosphere was sure to be even more special. Almost 70,000 fans packed into Lincoln Financial Field, putting the heartbeat of Temple University on display all afternoon. From the Diamond Marching Band's enthusiastic performance to the energy of the crowd, the stadium was electric. Time and time again, the roars from the student section overshadowed the action on the field. And just like when the 11 Owls on the field started to take over the game, both on defense and offense, the Cherry and White made their presence felt, erupting in response to every big play. The first victory against Penn State in 74 years called for a little celebration. When the outcome was in little doubt, Kevin Nagandi and the Temple faithful didn't hold back. It's a game that we won't forget anytime soon. While it remains a monumental achievement for the program, the Owls cannot be looking in their rearview mirror. They have another tough test coming up this weekend. Our own Rocco DeSangro will have more on that later. For now, Owl Nation will cherish this one, and hopefully many more to come. Not to be too early, but maybe a bowl game in the future? We'll see. You heard it here first. Reporting live for Temple Update, I'm Daniel Ray.
Thanks a lot, Dan. The next home football game is scheduled for October 10th at the Link. For Temple's homecoming weekend, the Owls are taking on the Tulane Green Wave.
But even more importantly than that, the homecoming concert lineup was released for this year at the Leah Center, and it'll feature Logic, Janae Aiko, French Montana, and headlining Rocco. I know you want to make this announcement.
Fetty Wap, let's go!
That's right. The most highly anticipated homecoming concert in years will be here in a little less than 1 month. Temple's main campus program board is presenting Owlchella. A shout out to the new, now famous California music festival, Coachella. The concert will be on October 9th, and student tickets are still on sale at the Leah Center for $20. The general public can get theirs online or at the box office for $30.
Thank you for all your help on the desk today, Rocco. We'll see you in sports a little bit later.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
The good news for Temple doesn't stop with sports and concerts for the Owls. Temple is now ranked 115th out of 2,200 schools in America, according to U.S. News rankings. The university jumped 17 spots in the past 5 years. Temple is also now in a tie for the 55th best public university. President Neil Theobald had this to say: "I am most proud that U.S. News has recognized Temple for the best performance among America's top universities in achieving our core mission, helping students from all backgrounds earn a college degree."
And Temple Hospital is one of 2 Philadelphia hospitals taking part in a breakthrough clinical trial on common blood disorders. The tested medication treatment treats bone marrow disorders as well as leukemia. Temple and Fox Chase Hospital are the first 2 facilities to test on human patients.
A student's death on Park Avenue, first considered a suicide, is now raising some questions from Philadelphia police. The investigation began last week. A 21-year-old female student was shot dead in her home on 2300 block of Park Avenue. The gun used belonged to the woman's boyfriend. According to police, the trajectory of the bullet was cause for suspicion.
The medical examiner did the autopsy and thought that there was maybe some questions about the trajectory, whether it could or couldn't be self-inflicted. So whenever there's a question like that, then you bring in the homicide team.
Neither Temple or Philadelphia police have made an arrest in the case. For more information on the shooting and my full interview with Charles Leone, head to templeupdate.com. The victim of a campus shooting, just off campus, now at Temple Hospital. Students received a TU alert about the shooting just before 11 p.m. Tuesday night. The attack was just off campus at 17th and Susquehanna. This is the 4th such incident to require a TU alert this semester. Police say it was non-Temple related and no arrests have been made.
And with all the construction that's going on campus right now, students are used to seeing some changes. The newest comes on Broad Street line as the Cecil B. Moore station was recently revamped. Updates Melissa Steininger is live now on Broad Street with the subway's new look. Melissa?
Thanks, Becca. As you can see, the subway stop behind me is now decked out in cherry and white pride. While students pass here every day, the surface of the subway might be changing, but one thing will remain the same. It will keep its name, Cecil B. Moore.
Temple has really been working hard to tell its story a bit better and to make sure that people really understand how great a university Temple really is. And part of that is just increasing our visibility.
Temple is taking over Broad Street. The T is now covering inside and out of the subway's path. Cherry and white are replacing the once brick entrance.
And it ain't been like this for a long, long time.
I think it's awesome. I think it's like a really nice change.
While many are excited, some residents say they're covering up the history behind the name on the stop.
I remember when this was Columbia Avenue. Then you named it Cecil B. Moore Avenue in honor of Cecil B. Moore, which was great. And now it might as well say Temple Avenue, okay, because it's Templetown.
Temple says SEPTA reached out to the university to help with improvement plans. Karen Clark says they approached the advertising with the community in mind.
Our respect for the community, for Cecil B. Moore, his contributions to civil rights and to this neighborhood were really important to us. We certainly didn't want to rename the station or take over in that way.
The changes stem from preparations SEPTA is making for the Pope's visit at the end of the month, trying to make it welcoming for visitors.
So making sure that that was a visible place where people understood where that is was part of what we wanted to do.
Some say effects reach even further than just a facelift.
I don't know, if Temple's expanding and marking more territory, it makes me feel a little safer.
Anytime I tell people where I go or what I study, you know, they're super impressed that I go to Temple.
Coming up on Temple Update, the papal visit means big crowds, big traffic, and big problems for a lot of Philadelphians. But see how some students who live around campus are now cashing in on the opportunity.
While Temple students are cashing in, Baltimore is dishing out millions of dollars. See why the city is paying so much in one of the biggest settlements in the city's history. We'll be right back. Millions of people are expected to flock to Philadelphia to see Pope Francis, but there aren't nearly enough rooms for the projected amount of people coming for the big event. Some Philadelphians plan on cashing in big time in an original way, and Temple students are no different. Here's Update's Aaron Patterson with the story.
Coming to Philadelphia, and some students have decided to avoid the chaos completely.
Definitely be staying in my apartment, probably with my girlfriend, and treating this whole thing like a hurricane, just riding it out, locking the doors, closing the curtains, stocking up for food, everything.
For when the Pope comes, I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I saw him this summer, but I'm thinking about going down the shore. And I know quite a few people are thinking about renting their apartments out for top dollar because Philly's prime real estate right now.
But students have embraced the chaos, taking advantage of the demand for housing that weekend and renting out their rooms or apartments for a nice profit on sites like Airbnb and Craigslist. With students opening their homes to strangers, obviously risks may be involved.
I wasn't too concerned what I did from the start. Maybe I was just too trusting of people on the internet. But definitely there are risks, obviously, with anyone that you could come in and rent the place. But I'm not too concerned. I would take any valuable possessions out of the room when I go.
We're not too worried. I mean, I know Airbnb, they do verification checks to make sure that everyone, you know, they check their criminal record and their background to make sure they're not, you know, criminals.
Some landlords might not approve of different guests staying in their property. Residents need to be aware of what rules are stated in their leases and communicate with their landlords before posting a room or apartment online.
I mean, they have a lot of properties, so I doubt they're gonna, you know, find us, but they might. I guess we'll see.
There's a high demand for places to stay when the Pope visits, and it is easy for students to make money off their apartments. Once you start using a site like Airbnb, it might be hard to stop.
They're gonna get hooked. Once you rent out your space and you make that money, you're gonna be like, this works. Pope's visit does bring an unprecedented amount of people. But Airbnb, like everything else, it's a legitimate business. And you have to run it like a business.
The Pope is coming. Temple students, prepare yourselves. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Aaron Patterson.
Properties around Temple are going for as much as $3,000 a night, and apartments in Center City are up for more than $9,000 per night. That means some residents could cash in over 20 grand on the Pope's visit for the weekend.
Here's now a news update from around the country and around the world. The city of Baltimore has reached a $6.4 million settlement with the family of Freddie Gray. The settlement comes after Gray died from a severe spinal cord injury while in police custody. The 25-year-old's death last spring sparked days of protest and riots throughout Baltimore. 6 police officers are still facing criminal charges on the incident. And Senate Democrats say they have clinched enough votes to block a potential attempt to stop the Iran nuclear agreement. This means they will be able to sustain a veto by President Obama. An expected Republican move to stop the deal would need 2/3 support in the Senate to override that veto.
Campus is still buzzing from the big win against Penn State, but we've got the Sports Desk's Rocco DeSangro back to talk about his experience this weekend. Welcome back, sports fans. We showed you the campus reaction after Temple's historic win. Now let's see some of those highlights.
The Sports Desk Rocco DeSangro is back at the Sports Desk. Rocco, what do you have for us over there?
Thanks, guys. I still can't believe that Temple won that game, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But let's get to the highlights from Temple's historic victory over Penn State. In one of the biggest matchups of the season, the Owls were fired up from the get-go, but they got off to a sluggish start. Penn State jumped out to a 10-0 lead early after the Nittany Lions kicked a field goal, then running back Akeel Lynch shot through the gap and took the ball 42 yards at the house. The Owls got on the board right before the end of the half to cut the lead to 3 after a touchdown from Jahad Thomas in the second half. The Cherry and the White clawed their way back into the game, and after a 1-yard touchdown from P.J. Walker, they found themselves on top, leading 17-10 heading into the fourth. It was all Temple from there, and the Penn State fans weren't having any of it. They hit the exits midway through the fourth. I mean, hey, at least they beat the traffic. And Temple's front seven destroyed Penn State Christian Hackenberg, just like the Nittany Lions did with their game tape following the loss of the Owls. Temple's defense sacked Hackenberg not once, not twice, but 10 times en route to a 27-10 victory as the Owls had the weekend to celebrate their huge win. And as they had that weekend, they take on Cincinnati this Saturday in their first conference matchup of the season. Now Last season, Temple failed to score a touchdown against the Bearcats in a 14-6 game. Quarterback Gunnar Keel threw all over the Owls for a touchdown, and he didn't have to have a great game because all it took was a 3-yard touchdown pass from him in the second quarter, which turned out to be the game-winning score. Now, you may not see Temple's defense sack Keel 10 times, but Matt Rule has challenged his team to get 40 sacks this season, and with 11 games left, their goal is already a quarter of the way complete. Both teams go into this game with a 1-0 record. Temple obviously coming off a historic victory over Penn State, and Cincy with a 52-10 thumping over Alabama A&M. But that's all the time we have here at the Sports Desk. Be sure to follow the Sports Desk at TU_SportsDesk on Twitter, or give us a like on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Rocco DeSangro. We'll be right back after the break.
Phil, I'll tell you what, this humidity especially has been making it feel like you're swimming while you're walking.
I know.
Hopefully the rain will wash it away.
It really is. My hair is a mess today. I can't believe it.
I think you're doing okay, Phil.
Thank you.
Let's check it out with Tag Houck in the Weather Center. Tag, give me some good news.
Yeah, guys, you know what? That humidity was a huge issue last week, but after this week, you'll be wanting it back. We're expecting a lot of rain. We'll talk a little bit about your 5-day forecast in just a bit, but first, let's take you to today's current conditions. Out there today, mostly cloudy skies and wet with an exclamation point. It is showers, light showers throughout the day. Expect a high of 79 degrees and a low of 64. Now let's take a look at our friend Frank the Frat Boy. We're having technical difficulties with Frank the Frat Boy. Let's go to the 5-day forecast. Thursday, today, we talked about it earlier. It is a high of 79 degrees and wet conditions. Rain, low of 64 degrees. Moving on to Friday, well, folks, it doesn't get too much better. High of 81 degrees. We're also expecting some showers and a chance of thunderstorms. Precipitation, it's expected at 100%. And get ready because winds will kick up anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, rainfall amounts should only be around 1/10 of an inch, so not a ton of rain during the day. But moving on to Saturday, expect a high of 80 degrees with showers, low of 62 degrees. Sunday, 76 degrees, also wet, but Monday, here it is. We have sunny skies, a high of 77 degrees and a low of 58. That's right, 58. Now, as always, for all the latest on weather, follow us on TU Weather Watch. Guys, back to you.
I'll tell you what, Temple's in-state rivalry with the Nittany Lions definitely isn't contained to those state borders.
Absolutely not.
Penn State grad Chris Stewart, a WPTV reporter in West Palm Beach, lost the ultimate sports bet to some Temple grad coworkers. Stewart agreed to wear full Temple gear while chanting the school's fight song if the Owls upset PSU, and I think we know by now in this show that they absolutely did it. Let's take a listen.
Temple University! Fight, fight, fight for the cherry and the white, for the cherry and the white, we'll fight, 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 yeah!
Well, thank you very much for all that you've done today watching us. And that's it for us at Temple Update. If you want more information, you can log on to our website at templeupdate.com.
And don't forget, you can always follow us on Facebook or like us on YouTube and Twitter. And as always, watch us 24/7 on Comcast Channel 50, Verizon Fios Channel 45 for Phil DuPont and the rest of the Update team. I'm Becca Hendrickson.
We'll see you next time.